So, welcome to another episode of Two Guys Being Themselves.
Well, three guys.
Well, three guys, yeah. Today we've got a really special guest, Jason Irving. And
welcome. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Jason Irving, for anyone who doesn't know, is not only our mentor but the founder of Wellness Breakthrough Academy, which is an amazing self-development academy. He's our mentor. He's a mentor and a leader of lots of people, and we're really honoured to have you here. And
done some incredible things. Just released your first book.
So Jason has done many things.
Just a cool guy, you know.
That's nice to hear.
Above all of it, like, you've done amazing things. You're just a cool guy. Cool guy to hang out with.
That's right. That's not bad for an old fella.
Fair enough, you know.
You guys are young fellas. I'm an old fella. I'm still a cool guy.
Exactly.
True.
That's
You're
right.
in with the tribe, you know.
Yeah. Well,
I've actually been pretty lucky with that. All my life I've been able to hang out with any generation. When I was young, I used to hang out with the grandmas and the grandpas and hang out with them. I never had a differentiation in age. It's actually quite good. I can reach the teens.
That's cool.
And that doesn't matter what age. I think that's really important when you're a leader, to be able to reach everybody.
Yeah. Because you're just really open, and people probably sense that you're really open, right?
Yeah.
They can feel safe around you.
Yeah.
So, where did it all begin? I would love to know, where along the way did you go, I need to start helping people, and like, tell us a bit about that, you know?
Well, I was in Canada, and I was a bit of a drunken pot smoker at the time.
Yeah.
And I had a bit of a sore knee. I was running with a mate who was like 6'7", and he just had some solid long legs, and I couldn't keep up with him. And I had a bit of a sore knee, so I went into this place, and there was this huge list of things that they did. I had no idea what they were, but there was one thing I saw that was chiropractic. So I was like, maybe I need some chiropractics, because I know that word. So I went into this place and ended up getting a healing session, which was emotional. And I was like, oh, okay, this is really different. Took me back to some stuff from my childhood, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And off I went, just snow skiing and having a good time, and doing my thing over there, being a young person with a year sponsorship visa, working visa, and then I was about to go on a bicycle trip down the west coast of America with my partner at the time, and I said to him, maybe I should go and see those people one more time. And I absolutely blew my ankle playing hacky sack in the backyard. And I couldn't walk. I couldn't stand on it.
Damn.
So I sort of hobbled my way in this place, and had another emotional healing session with these guys. And what came out of it is I wanted to do this stuff. I blurted it out. I want to do this stuff. And they offered me, they said, you should, this is good, that I should. And I walked out of there, my ankle was completely fine. Wow. And that sort of blew me off the park, because I was like, okay, I'm going on this bicycle trip, completely blew my ankle. 2 days, I was about to be riding, actually a week I was about to be riding, heavy, full-on bicycling with tent and everything, panniers, the whole bit. And I walked out of there, and I was completely blown away, because I didn't know anything about healing. I did know a lot about alcohol and weed at the time, and having fun, but I had no idea of what this was all about. So that's sort of where it started.
Cool.
Wow.
That's
And
awesome.
did you immediately drop what you're doing and start to follow that line, or?
Well, look, I came back to Australia, and there was a course in the technique that I had received called craniosacral therapy by a certain institute. I won't mention their name. And 5 days into that, I went in a 5-day course, came back to Australia, and everyone had to say something. There were chiropractors, massage therapists, naturopaths, all these people with labels that I didn't even really know what they did.
Yeah.
I had no clue. And I stood up and I was like, I'm an IT programmer, and I was told I needed to be here. I felt like such a dick. No one wanted to spend pair up with me. We had our first pair up. No one. I was like the lame guy who sort of like the leper. No one wanted to be with me, and by the end I had an osteopath ask me, "Can you please check this for me?" I was like, "Do you realise I'm the IT guy? I have no clue what I was doing." The thing was, the technique required that you had to be really, really subtle. You couldn't just get it like a massage and do it that sort of way, or chiro, snap something into place. You had to be really subtle with the body, and because they said this is how it works, I just was so naive that I just assumed that okay, this is how it works. So I picked up everything so quickly, and that's where it began. Did my first course in 1998 in November, and off I went.
Wow,
that's cool. That was a year after I was born.
So you're one.
Yeah, I was 1 year old when you were getting on your pathway.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
So you obviously had the sensitivity that a lot of the chiropractors have taken years to develop. You just walked straight in and you just had it. It was like a natural.
Yeah, I think it's like anything. You get people who play the piano without knowing the notes, and that was my piano playing. I didn't need to know the notes. Someone just gave me permission to show me something that I could naturally do myself, and that's sort of how it started. Everything that I touched in the sort of the healing world, I was pretty good at, except for massage. I wasn't so good at that in the beginning, simply because of my self-esteem. I did a terrible job. With my teacher actually laughed at me.
Oh.
He ended up giving me a job though.
Oh.
Right, so he laughed at me. He said it was basically the worst massage he's probably ever had in his life from a training perspective. And I was just like, yeah, I know, I was really bad. I was so nervous. Jesus. And he just laughed, and then he felt really bad. He realised that I really wanted to do a good job, and it was just not a good job, right? But it was good though. It was a good experience to actually have an experience where I still had to push through, a whole lot of barriers around my self-worth and my value towards myself. So I didn't. Anytime I touched something, I felt like I was at the ground, on the ground, eating dirt.
Yeah.
So that's just where I started from. Self-esteem was pretty low.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter what I started. I was always thinking, geez, you're not going to be very good at this.
So have those thoughts ever left? I mean, you've got a natural ability, and you had to work hard. I mean, do you think you had those thoughts because he was saying that you weren't very good, or was that...
No, I had that all my life. At school, all the way through school, I sort of was up in the clouds, so I didn't really... Like, people... I got the report card was, if he paid attention in class, he'd do far better. That was my standard report card. And, I got C's, D's and E's simply because I really wasn't there. I wasn't present.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, so...
You're busy feeling things and...
Well, not necessarily. I just I think I just had my head up my ass.
Right.
I just wasn't there. And there were things that were going on that I knew I could do. Like, I could understand where people were at and what was going on. But I didn't... All I wanted to do was hang out and have fun and play.
Yeah.
And, I had this sixth sense all the way through and understood people, but... I never really took much notice of it. I just understood what was going on for people. But
yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, so I was pretty... self-esteem has never been my thing.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, that you said you could understand people, and it sounds like you have a gift to just do that. Like, it's always been in you. Do you think that following the IT profession was something that you did because of like schooling and things like that, whereas this like natural gift that you had came later from yourself? It seems like...
Yeah, I think getting permission. I remember a friend of mine at university when I was going through my IT degree. I basically did my IT degree when I realised was just to prove that I was smart. That was the only reason why I did it. When I reflect on it back, I was going through uni, and I was in the first year of uni, and I said to a friend of mine that who's actually in the academy now, I said, I know stuff about people. And she looked at me, she said, well, tell me about me then. And then I basically told her everything about her and what she was like and what was going on in the space of 2 minutes. And then she sort of didn't talk to me for about 3 weeks. So I was like, oh, okay, so this is not acceptable, this ability to know. So it was the first time I actually expressed what I could do to anybody, and I just shut it out. I just shut it down and stopped. That was like from 21 to that moment when I was over in Canada, and I realised I had something that I could do. I just shut it down. I just decided that was it. Obviously, it's not acceptable to know stuff about people because they got frightened.
Did you try and suppress it with substances or just things, or?
No, I didn't suppress it. I was doing what my mates were doing. My mates were all into booze and marijuana, so I was just doing what everyone else was doing. They got into a lot harder drugs. I left them all behind, and started hanging out with my partner at the time, who is now my ex-wife, and just hung out with their friends, but they were still smoking weed. They just didn't touch any of the harder stuff.
Jeez.
Yeah. So it's just what you do when you're in your 20s, I think.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of the two of you, because I pulled you both out of it so quickly, the addictions and those sorts of things, because I didn't want you guys to live the way I was living in my 20s. And to be able to do something and not be running with the crowd like you both you don't run with the crowd, is really, really amazing for young people to be able to sort of have some aspiration about having more than just, well, what is it like going and drinking your life and going out partying and pissing all your money against the trough. Basically, which is what I was doing in my 20s, and I'm not proud of it. The thing is, I did it, so there's nothing I can do. Can't go back and change it. Can't wipe it out.
Well, I'm really grateful that I've got such a good leader to show me a different way of doing things. Because I guarantee you, I would be on a completely different path. I think I would be on a very different path if I didn't stick with your academy. Yeah. I would. So I think that's so important too for people who want to try and change their life and stuff. They need to make sure that they have a leader in their life that is showing the way, because you've proven to many people time and time again that like how if someone is scared to do something, you'll do it, and then you can show them how it's done. Like that's amazing. I think that's incredible, and it's so important, I think, for people who are in the mud and who are dealing with mental health issues and stuff, to have a leader that is willing to do that.
I think it's important. I think a lot of leaders, especially in mental health, they'll also tell you, hey, I've got it all covered, and they don't. And I don't do that. I'm very transparent and honest with how I'm feeling as a leader. I think that's really missing. I think that's really what can take people's mental capacities out the window too, because you're trying to pretend to be something that you're not. Because look, every single person is going to have mental health issues throughout their life, no matter who you are. So you're just going to have to accept what you've got to do to deal with that. And that's why I set up my academy, because I realised there was a huge hole in the industry around helping especially with mental health, because I had a bit of a rough ride after that 1998 experience. I ended up in the psych ward, hanging out with some people who basically helped me get in there, and I've broken my brain, and I don't blame them for it. What I do understand is that many people who are, I guess, in the helping industry are not doing enough work on themselves, and are not stable enough to help people. And so I was, when I became a healer, I started becoming the therapist for the therapists. A lot of therapists would come and see me, and I was just like, wow, this is where you're at? And I felt a little bit maybe cynical of the helping industry, that there were so many people that were so broken that I realised that people using their clients to actually get by, not to actually. My methodology was, I need to help myself, and my clients are going to help me get there. So I knew I had to do. If I had a range of people telling me, "Hey, I'm having trouble with my health," I would look at my health and fix it.
Yeah.
Right, because I had themes going on in my week, and I'm like, okay, you need to fix your health. So in one day, in 2004, I got rid of coffee, alcohol, marijuana, chocolate, all in one day.
Jesus.
Right, and I did not get a hangover. Right, you know how I've heard, like, I'm working with people in the academy who get hangovers, in quotes, like massive recoils. Nothing. There was not a single recoil from it. It was just a decision made, a detonation made. And I realised that if I wanted to take the helping industry and the healing industry seriously, and you know, our academy is called the Wellness Breakthrough Academy, I had to lead it.
Yeah.
Right? I had to lead it through doing the right thing, because if I wasn't doing the right thing, how could I expect any of the members or the people that I was healing at the time, when I was doing that as a healer, to actually get help from me? So, you know, if someone couldn't do something with food, I'd fast.
Yeah.
Right? I'd fast for 7 days if they couldn't actually not eat breakfast and pig out on stuff. I'd go, okay, I'm going to fast for 7 days and show you that I don't need food when you can't do without it.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Well, it's just looking at life and thinking, well, one thing that I've found that I think is the most important thing that we need to learn is responsibility. And when you're young, it's so easy to throw responsibility away and say, well, I'll do it next year. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll wait. I just want to do this fun thing. I don't want to do that hard thing.
Yeah.
And what I've learned is that if I'm responsible then and doing things with integrity, then no one can have a go at me either.
True.
And I can't have a go at myself, typically. So I look at anything, if someone's been erratic, I look at, okay, Jason, where are you being erratic right now? And just keep cleaning up my act. There's no perfection that ever exists.
Yeah.
So every single day I'm looking for something that I can do to make myself better. And that's what responsibility is, like, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I take it seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of people in the academy get frustrated with me sometimes, simply because I call them out with their lack of responsibility and their lack of action and their excuse making, and I approve it, and then I say, well, what are you doing? Well, come on. If you want to have a better life, don't make excuses, make it happen.
Yeah. I've heard that conversation many a times before.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, as you know, with you and your business, we really put a lot of effort into helping you improve it. Then you decide to get lazy.
Yeah.
And I kicked you in the butt.
Yeah.
And now you're busy again.
Yeah.
You were busy before, and then you just went and coasted.
Yeah.
And you needed a leader to come and say, hey, enough's enough of this behaviour. Let's get you back on track and get you moving.
Yeah, for sure. And I totally appreciate that.
But I'd love to know what motivates you. You know, that's not a normal behaviour for a leader. It's you're a bit of an anomaly, I find. Like, it makes me wonder if, like, you know, when the time you were in the psych ward, is that, you know, did that create a level of fear, also motivation that you don't go back there again, or was it the pain that motivates you? Because I know that for me, like, it's pain that motivates me sometimes, and I just wonder, because you have so much belief in the academy and everyone and yourself, and it just makes me wonder where that comes from. Like,
well, a couple of things. I think the thing that motivates me the most is other people's changes, because where I'm at is my win is someone else's win. And I'm not worried about whether change is going down the well or up the mountain. Because change is really, really important. So when someone goes down the well, I know that we're going to find something really special down the well. I'm just looking at how people can change, and that's what frightens me the most is lack of change, is stagnation.
Yeah.
So I am terrified of actually staying and being the same. And that's what really motivates me the most. And most people are scared of change, and change is the only inevitability in my opinion. So if I think about what I've done, when I was working as a healer, I was coming home to Anya, my wife, and saying, I'm bored. Right? From a job that I just wanted to do when I was out of IT, like I thought I had made it when I became full-time healer in around 2004. And I thought I'd made it, and then I was bored because I'd go to work, people would have crazy sessions and they'd walk away feeling completely different, and I was bored.
Yeah.
There was just nothing that I was getting out of it anymore. So I had to do something that was going to stretch me, and now all I'm doing at the moment is stretching myself every single week, something new every week. There's not a single thing that I can sit there and go, okay, it's a coasty week this week. There's not one thing. I'm building content every single week that is new, that no one knows about, that I am sharing and showing, and then showing through examples. And then I take people through stuff, and people are like, oh my God, everything that I do in the academy is different. So I have to explain myself, explain the stuff, and show by example. And lead by example. So change is what gets me up every day.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool. Because everything in the academy that you do teach, it is very different. And I think that's why I love it so much, is because I finally found something where I'm like, this makes sense. You know, because you look at sadness or emotions or something and you never call it wrong, right? Like, it's there's actually gold in these sort of emotions and things, and you teach us that. Hey. Yeah,
and I think what you just said there is I'm always questioning. I say that word all the time. Does this make sense? Because I'm wondering if it makes sense. What I'm saying, because I'm bringing new information out. Is this landing? Is this me just being absolutely wrong?
Yeah. Or back in the cycle.
Am I just sharing something that is so way left field? Yeah. And every single person in the academy has said those words to me. Oh my God, that makes so much more sense than what I'm seeing in the real world, in quotes.
Yeah.
And that's when I know, okay, I'm onto something.
Yeah.
Because I'm making sense to people in the academy. Yeah. And then when I hear people talking to other people in the from that they're mentoring someone outside the academy, they're telling me they're blowing people off the park.
Yeah.
With new insight that just makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And as I talk like about the first year's like a wise old man in the world. Second year is like a dead person. And the third year is like the next life. Yeah. Compared to what we're doing. But I'm treating it like first year is like a baby. Second year is like an adult. And third year is like a wise old man, because the content's so different. Yeah. So it's trying to get, our idea is getting people to learn how to reestablish every single thing about them from the ground up. To think differently, to understand differently, to feel differently about their emotions, to understand and comprehend their purpose in their problems and why their problems are the essential ingredient to liberation, not to be removed, not to be drugged, not to be taken away, to actually build a life from, which is different.
Super different.
Yeah.
I've been to many counsellors and therapists, and they're like, okay, that's all right, don't worry, there's drugs, there's antidepressants and stuff, there's things that can help you to not feel sad or anything like that. And I've always questioned, well, what is so wrong about emotions? Why are emotions here? Why do we do this stuff? Like, what is it all about? And being in your academy, it's answered so many questions. Like that, it's okay to be depressed and have anxiety and all these sorts of things, and it's just normal. It's what is here in your bucket to teach you stuff and to push you in certain directions.
Yeah, it is, and like I'm learning astrology at the moment.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
I just got through this little part that our teacher's given us, and I didn't realise how much Saturn represents sadness, right? I didn't realise how much sadness is in my chart and the influences that are there through Saturn, but you can't see it unless you actually are doing some of this stuff. So it made me realise, because when people make a breakthrough, the first thing I do is want to cry.
Really?
Yeah, when people actually liberate. I actually want to cry, as opposed to, oh my God, look at you, wave the pom-poms around and jump around and do cartwheels. I actually do the opposite, which is pretty much what the Academy is a little bit like.
Yeah. It's the opposite of everything in the world.
Yeah.
It's actually more connected to what it really is, I think.
Well, it's more connected to actually how we think inside.
Yeah.
Right? So I was doing someone wanted me to be on a podcast. It was actually my first ever podcast, right? First ever that someone wanted me to go on. I was just like, awesome, I get to go on a podcast. This is cool. And then he asked me this question. He said, what do you do when you're about to get on stage, Jason? And you're about to share in front of hundreds, maybe thousands of people. What do you do before you get on stage? And I answered this. I'm not going to be good enough. It's all going to be shit. No one's going to like it, and I'm going to get laughed at. And he looked at me in shock. And he said, that's the opposite to the coaching industry. And I said, yes, and it works really fast. I have no pressure on myself, and I walk on stage and nail it every single time. Now, you want to know what happened?
Yeah.
I didn't get on his podcast. He didn't post it.
He did like that.
Really?
No, because I didn't hear from him again.
Oh, shit. Huh.
Well, I freaked him out.
Yeah, because he probably thought you were a bloody whack job going.
Probably. And basically, I've shown this to every single person, except for coaches who have learned NLP and you've got to go and put the let's get it done. They don't get it. So I have to, anyone who's broken themselves as a coach, they come in and I have to re-establish how they do everything the way that they think to honour that thought, accept that emotion, and acknowledge the limitations that we do, which is very, very simple. It works really fast, and the moment you do that, then nothing gets a hold of you, and you don't actually feel pinned down by what's going on around you.
Yeah, because I mean, everyone's different, right? So if there was one textbook that said this is the way you do it, and maybe from a business perspective it might make you money, but it's not actually the longevity of it. It might not be that valuable or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if everyone's different, so how can you have like one textbook for one thing, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And look, the people who need that big rah-rah positive, they're a certain type of person, and it does work. I'm not saying it doesn't. Trouble is, majority of people can't land that and just go, just be happy. Yeah. Put a smile on your face and do this, and then the chemicals actually change. They actually do. When you smile without actually wanting to smile. Chemicals change in your body simply with a face movement. But for me, that doesn't last, because I want to discover why my sadness is there. So someone will go and I'll say I'm sad, and people tell me, oh, are you okay? You okay? I'm just like, yeah, I'm just working on it and spending some time trying to find out what it's about and learning some lessons around it. Oh, you okay though? Yes. Yeah. And sometimes, even in the academy, when I say, I'm feeling a little bit like this, I'll get personal messages. I'm like, have you listened to the academy content? Yeah. Because even people who have gone through it quite a bit, they're like, are you all right? I'm like, guys, you know what I'm doing. You should know me by now, that I'm wanting to dive deep and find some coal that I haven't found yet, to find the diamond in that coal that is actually going to bear some truths that I don't know about. And I won't find it in the joy, I'll find it in the sadness every time.
Because joy can just become a distraction, can't it?
Well,
Too much joy.
Look, overjoy is bipolar in Chinese medicine.
Yeah. So it's very different spin on emotions and life in general. Do you think that the world will start to accept these heavy emotions and NLP and coaching industry?
Look, to be honest, I don't really know. What I'm looking for are people who are not able. The stuff in the world right now is not working for them, and they want something that is going to work. Because that's what people would do. I used to be the last port of call as a healer.
Really?
So yeah, people would say, I tried everything, now I'm trying you, and then I'd find a way.
Wow.
And that's how it worked when I was a healer, and this is the same as what I'm doing here, is that sometimes life doesn't have an answer. One thing I know is that this stuff will find it if you look, right? The trouble is people are looking in all the wrong places, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you're looking for answers with everything that you know, then you'll find nothing but what you know. So you have to look beyond the horizon, and you have to look in something that most people are not willing to look at, which is actually the darkness. And this is what I realized when I was working with people. All the development or spirituality, they're all looking at light. Now light is what's knowable.
Yeah.
So I'm not interested in what's knowable.
It's safe, isn't it?
It is. It's a zone. And I'm not saying that you can't create through light.
Yeah.
You can. All you're creating is what's knowable, though. So anything that's knowable is light. Anything that's unknowable comes from darkness. And I believe actually God is the darkness. It's not the light. It's the unknown, the abyss, that actually where God is.
Yeah.
And then light is born out of that and gets created. Right? So I'm not religious, by the way. I just
that term.
I just use that term.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I just look at things really, really differently. So anything I want to find, if I want to find something about someone, I don't want to find out what I know about them.
Yeah.
I want to find out what I don't know, and I want them to find out what they don't know about themselves, so they can establish a bigger them.
Yeah. That's cool. It's like...
Well, think about it. If you, whatever you know now, wouldn't you want to know 100 times more in the next couple of years?
Yeah.
You got to go to the unknown to do that. You got to go and find people who know stuff to grab stuff. Like I've got some people right now teaching me karate.
It's cool.
I don't know anything about karate, right? And I'm getting okay at it. The thing is, karate's a system that's been around for years. My system hasn't.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
The concepts are different, but emotions are all the same.
Yeah.
Right? All emotions, they've never changed, and they've never gone away for some reason.
Yeah.
Right? So what are we going to do with them? Are we going to just keep hiding away and digging in our cave and just pretending they don't exist and say, hey, everything's great,
Yeah.
while we're feeling really not so good on the inside? And that's what the darkness is, also concealment.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's like you're really breaking your matrix of what you believe to be true and stuff, because that's the light, isn't it? And then diving into the dark, and you go, oh shit, this is actually also what's going on.
Yeah.
And then this is an entirely new world that you're creating, because you're in flow with your sadness and emotions and things, instead of being like, oh, I'm sad, oh, I'm not allowed to be sad, let's fix that with substance, or
Yeah, especially with mental health. Men don't accept their emotions anywhere near, or don't get the help.
Yeah.
I know when I left my ex-partner or ex-wife with my daughter, I was depressed for 2 years, didn't say a single thing to anyone. What got me through was working as a therapist. And people say, oh, you're the happiest guy in the world, oh, I can't believe how awesome you are. And I'd be sitting there, door would close, and I'd just be like, yeah, you have no clue who the person is, because I just concealed it. I didn't let anyone know, because I knew that if I told someone I was sad, they wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
That it was okay for me to be sad too. So I was depressed for a couple of years, and what I found in all of that depression was actually building my academy.
Mm.
Right? I realised I needed to go into the hole for a couple of years to find out why I was so different.
So you're not judging all that stuff as wrong.
No.
Right?
And so and I was the slowest, dopiest of the lot.
Yeah.
Because I was never ever judged anyone's space that they were in as a healer while I was judging my own.
Oh.
And I was like, God, once I realised what I was actually doing with people, right from 1998, I had no judgment for anyone's space. I was just dumb. I couldn't do it for myself, which is pretty common. You know, if you think about someone in a space, you're able to help their space while they're in their doo-doo, right? So it's pretty common that you need someone, an outside influence, to actually help break your matrix.
Yeah.
And still, there are times where I'm resisting. I don't, you know, when you'd know this, you too. There's 14 techniques in the second year. There's 8 or 9 techniques in the first year, and there's a bucket load for third year.
Yeah.
So you forget when you're under duress to do any of them.
Oh, totally.
Right? And then you need someone else to remind you.
Yeah.
Hey, it's this. And all it takes is someone else outside of you to give you a little bit of a help and a helping hand. And I think we all need that, including me. Right?
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about the academy is the community that you've created, and the safety, and especially for men as well. There's a lot of women in the academy, but especially for men, it's been because women, it's been great to have that. You know.
Yeah, and especially because it allows. I have a no dickhead policy, so a lot of the men who come in, they're not. We've got some boys in the academy. They're not hiding their emotional state. They're really emotional boys.
Yeah.
Right. They're really emotional. Like Elliot, Mark, really boy.
Like Chris.
Yeah, Chris,
had on last
and
time.
they're really, really emotional people because they've been given permission. To be okay and understand the state of play with where they're at, and that's what's really important around what this podcast is about, which is mental health and that sort of thing, to help people feel comfortable about how they think.
Yeah, I think the amazing thing coming from a man's perspective as well is being in a space where I sit down with you and you say, hey, you're allowed to do this is a safe space, like it's okay, and that allows me to go, oh okay, this is okay, and actually start growing, instead of being stuck in this, oh it's not okay constantly, it's not okay, oh it is actually okay, oh okay, I can step forward now. I can move into a different space.
And exactly what that's actually saying is, I'm okay. Right, and when you're okay with where you are, you can move really differently. And you guys know, when I get you guys into a space where you've been completely depressed and messy in your own world through judging that messy, depressed space, and then we do a process around it, and you'd be happy in within 2 minutes. And to have that experience where you're completely down in the dumps. I had this lady, Catherine, who just joined last week, and she was so upset and depressed, and 2 minutes doing a bit of academy magic, she was happy, and then I saw her just last week, and I said, that is so not fair. I looked at her, I was so angry on some level. I was like, 1 week? 1 week and you're like this after this? That is so not fair. It's taken me so long to work this stuff out, and then someone just goes, bam. And she's like, oh, I'm really happy, everything's okay. I'm like, no, that's not, it works, and I'm so happy that it does. She just went into no resistance, and she's a very different person. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this sort of gets taken on with the world.
And so am I.
Because it's new. It's like Amway. No one knows it, but everyone knows Amway Now, you guys might not
I have no
because...
idea what Amway
Oh, I've
is.
heard of it. I mean,
You guys are young. When I was your
that's a big
when
thing.
I was your age, no, well before your age,
in
there was
my
a thing
day.
called Amway that
Back in the
everyone
day.
was into, and it was this hierarchy scheme. And man, now no one knows about it. It's quite funny, isn't
Yeah,
it?
back in the
But
day.
but it's like it's something new.
Mm.
It's going to take some time to take off because it's not like a piece of tech like Facebook that's just exploded, or TikTok, or those sorts of things. It's
Crypto.
It's crypto. It's like taking you into your psychology, and a lot of people don't want to. They
No.
want to go and hide away from how they feel. So it's people who really want to seek deeper development in themselves, and a lot of the reason why people go and do personal development is they're asking why.
Yeah.
Why is this planet the way it is?
Yeah.
And I'm sick of the way it is, and I'm sick of myself in it.
Yeah.
And so they go and seek me out. And,
Yes.
and that's what's always happened is that, and then I've got a good run sheet with turning people around.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with suicide. I've had a lot of people, I didn't know this so much, there's a lot of people who are breathing oxygen simply because
Absolutely.
they've met me. And,
Absolutely.
they've told me afterwards, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to actually have that impact.
You've saved lives because of your techniques and things. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I think other people are saving their
Yeah.
own.
You
That's what's been really different, is that I show,
Yeah.
and then the technique actually gives people a different way of looking.
Like you've got a toolbox and you've got to let them choose whether they become a mechanic or not.
Yeah, that's right. And that's
Take-
the beauty of what this does, because when I was a healer, everyone wanted me to be the
Right.
solver and have the tools, and I was the mechanic.
Yeah.
When I set up the academy, I wanted to hand the tools over so then I wasn't required anymore.
Yeah.
And that was really, really important. And I think, people get addicted to the content that I'm sharing. I had someone, I'm just in year 3, so this is so young right now. And I'm taking people through year 3 content, and I had someone last year saying, what's going to happen in year 4? I'm like, can you just let me finish it? I haven't got to year 3 yet. And, they were all panicking about year 4. What was it going to be like if they got left behind? And there is a year 4. I want people to actually take this stuff on for life. I'll keep sharing. I've written a book, as you said,
Yeah.
from broken to breakthrough, and I've got another book that I'm getting set up through my podcast at the moment, and on emotions, so giving it the very different spin on emotions. So I'm going to turn all the content into a book and get it all moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I've looked into your astrology, and you've got the gift of the emotions as the way that the world will see you. That's your big gift, is you're going to have a completely different spin on the emotions and the unconscious. And that's the thing I see in the academy is like, when this hits the mainstream, this will completely change lives. It'll be like NLP has changed so many lives, hypnotherapy, but these things aren't deep enough. Your stuff completely changes everyone fast.
The longevity.
And I'm just so excited to see when that happens, because it's so small now, and I feel really honoured to know you. I feel like you're this complete anomaly, and it's going to be really, really cool. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the big vision. Like if you're saying, oh, I'm not even sure what's going to happen in year 4. Like, what do you see for the future of this, or do you know, or?
Well, look, one thing I am good at is seeing other people's world and what theirs is going to be. I've got a little bit of a dark spot around what it's going to look like. One thing I've learned with me, I've got determination to do something great. Our goal for our academy is to make it the #1 academy for personal development in the world. That's our goal. Okay, so I don't know whether we'll get there. That's our goal. And so we want to get ourselves into the schools. I've had nurses who are in the academy say you need to get this into the health system.
Yes.
So we're just working on ways in which we can put our structures into the school systems and those sorts of things. I've got one guy, his name's Eric. He's already started I think in a couple of weeks he's going to be doing a talk in front of teenage school kids.
Wow.
At the school. So it's already starting. I've had another healer who said, she works on the principles. I want to get all my techniques into the school system to help the teachers. I'm like, no worries. I just worked with her and completely re-established how she understood healing. And she's just like, oh, this is so different and it feels so freaking good. So I've just got to tweak, change, shift, and get it ready.
Yeah.
So things are... the thing that's really important to me is not necessarily the academy providing all of this. It's people who actually do the academy work, and then they actually supply the academy work in their way in the world as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, for the idea, we want our academy to be the number one personal development in the world. What we also want is people to look at themselves as number one and put their mark on the world.
Yeah.
And so it's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
Because this is like so different. This is a whole nother approach that we want to market worldwide. Very, very different to coaching. It takes you on every single level, whereas coaching is quite mental. This takes you on every single level imaginable. So we're going to see how far we can take it.
It's incredible.
I believe that you won't give up. I mean, the things I see week after week, you have no idea what you're doing, and you tell us. You say, I've been going through all my stuff today. I don't know what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. And then you just blow us away with these amazing, unique techniques that are not shown anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of my own research on things, and I don't see anything like what you do.
I'm not reading it from a book.
Yeah, it's
Not
and you're
watching movies and writing down.
That's it, grabbing all the
movies.
notes. Actually, one thing that I've done, guys, which is probably a little bit unique, is that I don't want to read books at the moment. I don't want to take on anyone's information.
Okay.
The reason why is because I don't want to think that I'd be taking anyone's IP. So I actually, I stopped reading and stopped taking other people's information quite a long time ago. So I could make sure that this has a clean bill of information that's coming from me.
Uniqueness.
And there are a constant, principles that are universal.
Yeah.
So not everything that I'm saying is actually just me.
No.
Right? There's amazing people out in the world who actually are in complete alignment with the way that I think. And
I've always wondered that, actually.
well, there always will be. Look, what I think about is that there's an idea sitting in the stratosphere. Not one person takes that idea on. It's a whole bunch of people do.
Yeah.
And they take that idea on and put their own spin on it and put their own magic around it, and then the right people come and learn it.
Yeah.
And that's how it works.
And so,
I'm always being inquisitive. I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to understand.
I think that's where we feel comfortable with you, because that sense of I just want to know drops judgment, and the idea of I'm shaming or anything like that. It's like, no, there's none of that. I'm just curious. What's going on? Like, what is this about? Like, tell me, teach me.
You're like the forever student.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually what a leader should be.
Yeah.
Big ears and a wide open berth of looking, having that like a bee looking 360 degrees.
That's cool.
And every person that I get the opportunity to spend time with is going to teach me something. I never ever look at myself as the teacher. I look at myself as the student of life, and then the people I hang around give me the opportunity to express what I see is going on in the world, and people teach me how to be a better person and what I need to do. So quite often I've learned how to be better by seeing people do stuff that's out of integrity.
Yeah.
Right, so I just go, okay, that doesn't actually feel like the right thing to do, And I just saw someone manipulate someone. I was like, I don't want to manipulate people like that. So even doing sales and marketing, they teach you, this is what you got to do. You got to put them in pain. You got to do this. And I'm like, yeah. You get taught, put them in pain, put them in the suplex,
What?
and then just give them a good couple of uppercuts, and then because they're emotional, then you put them in then you become the savior of their problems, and then they'll come and work with you. And I sit there and I just go, what I do is I go, I want to help. If I think I can help you, maybe this is the right decision that we can do. And I'll show where the pain is, but I won't be trying to crush them.
Yeah.
It's a marketing tool in the coaching industry. Crush someone and then give them a little bit of juju, and then they might want you. And I'm lucky. I've learnt from some amazing marketers who are not like that. It's
Cool.
pretty common.
Yeah.
So I look for people who are really decent people. And there's heaps of really good marketers out there who, and that's the way I want to market. I don't want people in my academy who are not the right fit. So I never ever, I look at every person who joins the academy as an interview.
Yep.
I never look and say, okay, I desperately want this person joining. I go, is this person going to be a fit? Because I've had some issues. I've had some people join who I thought were okay, and they only lasted a week.
Yeah.
Right? Because they were rude. And we have a no rude policy. So they're out and they're here very, very quickly.
I think that's what makes the academy such a community of people, because we're not all assholes. Like, there's no competitiveness, or there's no like, oh, this person done such an achievement, like, fuck you, like, I want to be better than that, rah rah. Like, it's just a really friendly, open space where people lift each other up when they're down. And that's what I love about it, is that, you know, it's just, it's great.
It's very supportive.
Super supportive.
I think that's what people are missing a lot, is community. And you've created a really beautiful community that's trustworthy as well. You know, and because everyone's open with their vulnerabilities, like the depression and everything they're going through, it just creates trust. Like, it just creates family. You know, it really does, and it's hard to actually accept that as well, because it's so different.
Yeah, I think that's pretty common. I think a lot of people don't know how to deal with their lives from their experiences, and then I come along and say, hey, let's do it differently. And everyone has pain in their lives, and you know, our parents are not always what we want them to be. Every single parent doesn't mean to do it wrong, but we teach how to reparent your inner child, so then you can actually learn, and then people actually feel, you know, trusting is safe. And look, one thing I teach, I did a live on this just yesterday about not trusting people, and I think it's really important that trust is earned, and trust takes time. That's what, the first time I spoke to you about joining the academy, didn't I? I said, thanks for not trusting me, and you didn't know what to do with me, because I actually didn't want you to trust me, and you told me you didn't, and I thought that was a fantastic thing. Now, if I told you you should trust me for these reasons, then I would have lost you.
I probably would have ran away, because I was like, okay, what's the hook? Why is he making me trust him? Like, what, you know? But instead I literally said, Jace, I'm sorry, but I just don't trust you. And you go, hey, that's alright. I don't want you to trust me. What? What is this guy on?
And you didn't know what to do, because
now I know what it's for.
Now you know why.
Yeah.
After joining the academy's frameworks and understanding that a lack of trust is essential to gain it.
Yeah, well, because it's teaching me to trust myself, trust my own decisions, and be here in this space because I know I want to be here.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, cool. If anyone who's struggling with anything, whether that's, you know, mental health or addictions, or just not sure what they're doing with their lives, is there some content that people can consume, like the name of your podcast? And my podcast is www.wellnessbreakthroughacademypodcast.com. The podcast name is Uncovered, so you can actually look at it and see us on video on that website. The podcast's called Uncovered,
It's on every single one of the platforms for podcasting, so it's everywhere.
Cool.
I figured out how to put it everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's and then I have a page on Facebook called Wellness Leadership Evolution.
Yeah.
And so what that does is I do a lot of lives on there and show, a different spin and a different take on things, and have some free meditations on my website, and which is wellnessbreakthroughacademy.com. So there's lots and lots of pieces of information out there. I'm currently building some an app.
Cool.
Yeah, that's going to be on its way. I've got
Awesome.
a few things that I run. I do have some short courses that I run, and there's a couple of things that I do. Life Beyond Limits, which is weekend free course, so people get a little bit of an idea about what the academy looks like without having to pay any money.
Yeah. So we'll put links to all of this in the show notes.
Yeah.
And even if there's dates for any of those coming up, we could put that in there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've listened to all your episodes on the podcast.
Are they any good, mate?
Oh, I love them. They're really fascinating because you've got so many different people on there that do different things, whether it's sales or health, or have their own small business, or whether they are just working but dealing with like suicide or things like that. And everyone's story that you have on there is it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about Jason is that he makes everyone feel valued, and then they can express themselves.
Yeah.
And he makes everyone it gives everyone the permission to be themselves. And that's kind of like why we did this podcast, is we get he sort of allowed us to be ourselves. And he's not a normal coach, because you don't want everyone to be Jason.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
Yeah. You have to get the uniqueness out of people.
Yeah, you have to bring the uniqueness out of people, because everyone has an individual spin. We all have the same shit going on, but our unique understanding is really, really important. So there are things that I tell people to do that I wouldn't do, simply because it's not my path.
Right.
Especially organised people, telling them to do what I do, it's not smart. I work with the organised people and show them how to do their organisation even better, and think bigger, and use their magic that they have, and I learn from their magic. And I feel really blessed that I have so many unique individuals. I'm sorry, buddy, I have killed the bonsai plant that you gave me.
Did you?
I killed it.
I'll buy you another one.
don't buy it, man, because there's no chance, because I'm a brown
Jason!
yeah.
You're one job, mate. I tried to let you prove yourself.
That's your gift.
Yeah,
that's your thing.
That's
You're
gift.
good with plants.
Yeah, fair enough.
You tried to
good
give
with-
that to me, and
It
I just
doesn't
couldn't.
work.
I
Fair
couldn't do
enough.
it.
I shouldn't push my gifts of gardening onto people.
No, that's right.
It's not fair.
Yeah, I looked at it and I was just like, I think we killed it.
Oh man!
As
As soon as I sat that down, I was like,
That's not going to last. The poor thing. The poor
Yeah,
thing, you
well.
gave it to the wrong human.
Yeah, but that's okay.
hey, that's
You
all
know,
right.
but that's a good thing to think about, is like how can we give something that you're good at, but it's like it's hard to define, because what you're good at is change. So I asked you once, what can we do to give to you, and you said just change, and I think I understand that now. It's like that's what you're good at. That's what you want for everyone else. Just like you.
I want you guys to grow. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, because then you grow as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so growth is the essential. Everyone asks me, what can I do for you? You've done so much for me. I'm like, grow. And they're like, what? You want me to do for me, for you? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's hard. I'm starting to get it, and yeah, it's brilliant. It's been an honor to have you. You're one of the most inspiring people in our lives.
Thank you so much for coming on this podcast, man.
Yeah,
It's been really good chat.
Well, I just want to say it's so nice to have people say such nice things about me, because I'm not used to hearing.
Soak it in, mate.
Not used to getting. I'm not really good with feedback.
Yeah.
And, you've really embellished me, I think, in my opinion.
Oh, well,
you know what I'm
I
like.
don't even know what that word means.
Yeah,
but I'll
me
take
neither.
it.
But it sounds like a cool word, doesn't it?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys,
No
and
worries.
I'm really excited to see what you guys do in your journey. I've given you challenges about what you're here to do when you get to my age. I want you to do it better than when I got at this space. So you've got your own individual challenges to work through, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you do with this podcast, how you help people, and how you grow. And thanks for letting me be on this couch and sharing.
That's okay.
It's a pleasure.
And is it okay to say, like, if people want to get in contact with you about the Academy, do they just go through the website or
Facebook? They can go through the website, Facebook. There's phone numbers on there, Messenger. I don't bite. You can add me on Facebook if you like.
There's no boxing ring in your academy to suplex people into.
No, I don't force people
into joining.
I like to chat. I like to chat to people about whether it's right. I've had a few people that I've spoken to recently, and I just want to make sure that it's the right fit. And sometimes it's not.
Yeah, that's okay. People aren't ready to go down this path.
Or I'm just not the right fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's important. Is that I'm not right for everyone, and I wouldn't want anyone to be disappointed in enjoying what they did what they needed.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Everything's in the show notes, and thank you again, Jason, for coming along.
Pleasure.
Cheers.